The 49ers this week have been in the news regarding some of their wide receivers in their current roster. And I'm a believer that the Niners should draft another receiver in this year's draft. But given that the Niners have more important needs such as offensive line and safety, the Niners may still consider changing some of their wide receivers this year. Let's start with who they have in their current roster. Obviously, Deebo is our number one receiver. Deebo Samuel, being the second round pick in last year's draft, has made up for the Pettis pick 2 years ago. And speaking of Pettis, Kyle Shanahan is a firm believer in Pettis. I think there's no question that Pettis has the ability. I think he has the ability. I feel like he could even be a number one receiver in this league. But my problem with Dante is, does he want it? And sometimes folks have the talent, but they just don't want it as the guy next to him. And I hope I'm wrong, but there's a reason why the Niners did not play him essentially after Sanders got here. The only way that you let Pettis go is if you trade for him. You can't just cut him. So I say he's staying, especially if Shanahan says, I want Dante to go on a mission this year. That's just letting him know, like, I believe in you. And I think that he's had that stance all year. Now, Kyle and John held a press conference at the Combine this week, and one of the things that came out of there was that Shanahan still wanted Marquise Goodwin on the team. I mean, this had a lot of fans scratching their heads, including me. Shanahan said, we don't want to release Marquise. He's too valuable. Now, to me, it sounds that the Niners are willing to trade Goodwin, and I think that's the only reasonable explanation for this. I'd be shocked if he's still on the team this year. Given that also you can save money in the cap by cutting him, it just makes sense financially. And I think that's where I was going when I made a video about who the Niners should cut to save cap room, and he was one of the players, and it was mainly for financial reasons. I think Goodwin is a very solid player. I just feel like financially it doesn't make sense to keep him. So we'll see how that plays out. But let me also talk about Jalen Hurts, because John Lynch did have an update on his medical situation. Turns out Hurts has not been cleared for all activities. Lynch said, we think we're nearing towards a much better place to where he'll be cleared for all activities. There's been some recent scans that give us a lot of hope. Obviously, the back issue is troublesome here. And I think the Niners should be in a mindset where they still upgrade at the position, and whatever Hurts can give you this year is just going to be a major plus. You also have Trent Taylor coming off an injury, so here's an area where stability will be key. We still have Ritchie James, a very good punt returner, kick returner. Just kind of flew under the radar this year, given that Sanders was here, Bourne played well. He is probably someone you keep an eye out for in camp and stuff. He could be one of the players that can really take a jump in 2020. Also, the 49ers met with some of the wide receivers in this year's draft. Players like Jalen Reagor from TCU and Justin Jefferson out of LSU met with the team. All directions are pointing to the 49ers looking for possibly an upgrade, but it looks like there's definitely going to be some changes in the wide receiver room this year. But anyways, guys, let me get your thoughts on this whole receiver situation that the 49ers got going right now. I do love some of the receivers, like, Jalen Reagor from TCU, and there's others I like to discuss on a different video, but let me get your thoughts on this. Also, if you're interested, go ahead and subscribe to my channel if you don't want to miss any upcoming Combine draft videos directed and focused on the 49ers team. Just want to thank you all for watching, and as always, we'll see you on the next one, guys. Peace.
Come on.